Are you ready?
I'm ready.
1, 2, 3.
Salute.
Salute. All right. So I'm here with a fellow Italian, Yvonne Santello. We know each other how many years?
Ooh, it's been a while.
Man, it's been years.
It's been years.
And I never really knew your story. I'm going to read, and I'm going to put the link down here to your story that's online, and I believe it's Angels on Your Pillow. I'm going to put the link right here, but I just want to read one segment from it. Phyllis works with women who have suffered rape, violence, and domestic abuse. She understands this path of heartbreak because she has lived it herself. And when I read online, lived it herself is putting it mildly. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Before we even begin that, do me a favor, just tell me what you do for a living, name of the company, what you're doing today.
Today, let's see, I'm a franchise owner. Our franchise is part of the iTex Corporation. The name of our franchise is iTex in Houston, C&P Cashless Marketing. We're a business-to-business trade company. We recruit members so that they can trade their products and services among each other, and it's an alternative way to make money and spend money.
And what I love about your company, I'm going to say this, and I know it's not a whole marketing thing, but I've gotten my foot in the door with other companies that are members. I would have never gotten my foot in the door.
That's
especially when I was,
sure.
Especially when I was early on.
There's so many things you could talk about that brings benefits by being iTex, but that's one of the major ones is getting people in front of each other that would normally not know each other.
Yeah. Bringing
in business that they would normally not get. So to me, it's a win-win. You know?
Yes. Great company. Great company. All right, Phil, let's talk a little bit about what you're doing to help these women. What are you doing? Are you involved in organizations?
Well, yeah. Volunteer for rape crisis centers.
What does that mean, volunteer?
Basically going in and counseling victims. They tend to identify better with people who have been in their shoes or have some similarity to some of the things they're experiencing.
Yeah.
The one thing that we're trying to overcome with victims is that they are not at fault. And for so many years, people that have been victims have basically been treated like they're the bad guy. They created the problem.
Treated by who?
The court systems, the attorneys. People have a tendency to automatically want to blame the person for the acts that's been put upon them just simply by because of who they are, maybe the way they dress, or maybe they enjoy going to places that would tend to attract these type of situations. Yeah, it still happens. It still happens. It happened to me. I was actually kidnapped in my own vehicle and driven away and raped, and I had my throat cut, and then I was dumped into a ditch, and it took a passerby to find me, and I hesitated even to report it because I didn't want to be blamed, and I felt guilty because maybe I did something to encourage it, which obviously I didn't. I was in an apartment complex parking lot to go visit a friend, and I was approached when I was getting out of my car, so I had no idea what was going on.
Right.
But yeah, we want to try to get rid of that stigma, and we try to encourage women to realize that yes, what you've been through is horrible, and it'll affect you the rest of your life, but you will overcome it, and I'm living proof. You know, I got myself educated, I went into different careers. You know, I learned that what it did is made me stronger because I was going to prove a point that you're not going to get me. No matter what you do, you're not going to get me.
And you mentioned how old were you when that happened?
Well, you know, this is funny you bring that up. You know, watching television and some of these things that are going on with politics and stuff, and women coming out and accusing of being raped.
Yeah.
I will tell you from the heart, if you've ever been raped or you've ever been assaulted in that violent act, you never forget it. You don't forget the date, you don't forget the time, you don't forget the place, and you don't forget the face. I can tell you exactly when I was raped, the date, the time, and everything. And for anybody to sit there and make accusations as such, and then to say, well, I don't remember. You know, that just kills me. But yeah, it was in 1981.
81. But okay, so this is something people need to know. You're talking about this one thing which is horrible, but before that point, you were through a lot of stuff in your life.
Yeah.
Okay, but go ahead, keep going.
Well, it was in 81. That would have made me, see, I'm 68 now.
So you were about 26, 28, somewhere around there.
Yeah, and that was just the topper of the cake of a previous life, you know, being a child of an alcoholic, abusive mother.
In your story, I don't mean to interrupt you, say a violent alcoholic. Can I ask you what that means?
She was the type that when she drank, she turned violent. When she was sober, she was a gentle, kind, giving woman. But when she drank, she turned into this raging maniac, and she was always fighting with my stepfather and my father, and they were physically abusive to each other. And then she would take it out on me. And I was on probably a schedule of getting regular beatings every day. There was times when I was embarrassed to go to school because I'd have black eyes and I'd have bruises and I'd have half my hair was ripped out. She'd throw dressers on me, she'd beat me with brooms, whatever she could get her hand on, and it was just simply a fact that she was so frustrated and unhappy with her own life that I was there.
How old were you about?
Oh, it started when I was 6. And my father and her divorced when I was in my 6th year, and then she married someone else and moved to Texas, and he was abusive. He was an alcoholic, and just one thing just got extremely worse after that. And the sad thing was, Rob, she was a beautiful woman. She was Italian, auburn hair, green eyes, was a model. She was in, you know, all kinds of, she was extras in movies, and she had this blossoming career that she could have had. We did a mother-daughter modeling gig when I was a baby.
Wow.
And so it's just that my father, I think, is the one who destroyed her because he was a womanizer. And she found
Father
out.
or stepfather?
Father.
Father. Okay.
That's why it would cause their divorce, because he was over in England and had a girlfriend over there, and they would fight when he'd come back. He was in the service. And so it's just been bad. But yeah, and unfortunately, when I left my mother, because she had gotten in an argument with my stepfather, pulled a gun, it went off, and shot my half-sister in the chest. And she was only 23 months old at the time.
Oh my.
And paralyzed her. That's when I ended up moving out, and I was only, 15, and moved in with my father and my new stepmother. And I wasn't there probably 3 months, and he was already starting to try to molest me.
Father? Wait, stepfather, you said?
No, my real father.